going to turn the mic over to you, Rev Wayne Stills. This mic is.
Hey everybody, how you doing? Yeah, today's gonna be a little bit shorter. Audrey's not here. She has wasn't feeling 100%, so she's off today. And I'm gonna be just doing a half-hour show. Play phone, just work on today's lesson, and we'll be back next Thursday with Throwback Thursday. I'm gonna play a song, and then I'm gonna play a lesson, and then I'm gonna chat for a bit, and then I'm gonna say give them a mic back to Lynn. So today's song is a song that actually very well describes. I guess you could say it very well describes the media, and it's one of the reasons why I stay away from it because it describes the negativity of the media. Kicking when they're up or kicking when they're down. Kicking when they're up or kicking when they're down. That's the name of the game. Kicking when they're up and kicking when they're down. We all know that "crap is king" was one of my favorite lines in the entire thing, and it's one of those songs that just, in my opinion at least, it nails it. Especially these days with TikTok and Instagram and my kid, one of my kids especially, she's on it all the time. She deals with all the comments on her. She answers to all the comments, and that song nails it. Absolutely nails it. At least as I see, as I understand it. All right, so I'm gonna go play. I'm gonna go play today's lesson, and then we'll talk about it. Okay, so let me just get to it over here. Lesson 74. There is no will but God's.
Lesson 74. There is no will but God's. The idea for today can be regarded as the central thought toward which all our exercises are directed. God's is the only will. When you have recognized this, you have recognized that your will is His. The belief that conflict is possible has gone. Peace has replaced the strange idea that you are torn by conflicting goals. As an expression of the will of God, you have no goal but His. There is great peace in today's idea, and the exercises for today are directed towards finding it. The idea itself is wholly true. Therefore, it cannot give rise to illusions. Without illusions, conflict is impossible. Let us try to recognize this today and experience the peace this recognition brings. Begin the longer practice periods by repeating these thoughts several times, slowly, and with firm determination to understand what they mean and to hold them in mind. There is no will but God's. I cannot be in conflict. Then spend several minutes in adding some related thoughts, such as, I am at peace. Nothing can disturb me. My will is God's. My will and God's are one. God wills peace for His Son. During this introductory phase, be sure to deal quickly with any conflict thoughts that may cross your mind. Tell yourself immediately, there is no will but God's. These conflict thoughts are meaningless. If there is one conflict area that seems particularly difficult to resolve, single it out for special consideration. Think about it briefly but very specifically. Identify the particular person or persons and the situation or situations involved, and tell yourself, there is no will but God's. I share it with Him. My conflicts about blank cannot be real. After you have cleared your mind in this way, close your eyes and try to experience the peace to which your reality entitles you. Sink into it and feel it closing around you. There may be some temptation to mistake these attempts for withdrawal, but the difference is easily detected. If you are succeeding, you will feel a deep sense of joy and an increased alertness, rather than a feeling of drowsiness and enervation. Joy characterizes peace. By this experience will you recognize that you have reached it. If you feel yourself slipping off into withdrawal, quickly repeat the idea for today and try again. Do this as often as necessary. There is definite gain in refusing to allow retreat into withdrawal, even if you do not experience the peace you seek. In the shorter periods, which should be undertaken at regular and predetermined intervals today, say to yourself, "There is no will but God's. I seek His peace today." Then try to find what you are seeking. A minute or two every half an hour, with eyes closed if possible, would be well spent on this today.
All right. There's no will but God's. There's no will but God's. That's good news. That's great news. That's fantastic news. There's no will but God's. I mean, we know that God's will for us is good news, is good. It's perfect will. He wants us to be happy. He wants us to have a good life. It doesn't make a difference why we came here. The question is what do we do now? The reasons for making this place is not as important as what do we do now that we're here? God is the only will. When you have recognized this, you have recognized that your will is His. It's funny, when you think about it, if God is the only will, then His will is your will. I mean, you've been doing what He wants the whole time. You've always been on the path. I've said this many times. Always on the path to God. You're always on His path. You're not even on the path to God, you're always on the path of God. You're always in God. You're always walking in God, to God, from God. It's just that you judge where you are as not being where you should be. We all do that. I shouldn't be here, I should be there. I shouldn't be there, I should be there. Wait, I should be here? No, I should be back there. Meanwhile, every time we do something like that, it's like that GPS immediately before you even could think for a nanosecond, turns you around and makes where you are, where the place you have to be to get where you want to have to get where you have to go. You're always in the right place at the right time. God always turns things around to work in your favor. No matter what you're feeling, no matter what you're going through, it's always on the right path. If you can grasp that, and everything you're doing, every choice you're making, every action you're taking is the very thing you should be doing, must do, have to do. Be grateful that you're doing it. There's no other way you could have done it. You must do it this way. It's your script. Right down to the conversation you're having, right down to listening to this right now from me, right down to me talking. And that's why you don't have to worry about it being a negative. Just think about it. If God is the only will, God takes care of Himself. God's not going to hurt Himself. God can't really hurt Himself. He's not about hurting Himself. That goes against His nature. Her nature, it's nature. You can't. If you're a part of God, if God's the only will and your will is God's will, then you are part of this infinite being that will never hurt itself. You would never. Think of it this way: you're a part of nature. You're not in nature. You're not in the universe. You're like a tree. You're a part of nature. And nature takes care of itself. As a part of nature, you're the part of nature called humanity. You are the part of nature called man. You're a peculiar animal on the planet Earth. And you're a part of nature called you exist on a part of nature called the Earth. All of this part of nature in this part of the galaxy, in this part of the universe, takes care of itself like any other part of nature would. You take care of yourself naturally, the way you're supposed to, instinctively, intuitively, in accordance with divine nature, the divinity of the cosmos, which takes care of itself. Nothing to worry about. Every choice you make is a choice the entire cosmos wanted to make through you and as you. You can't take this stuff too specifically. Speak your mind and how you want to speak stuff. You'd be surprised how universal Jesus is. The idea is, what's beautiful about this idea for today is it's really explained in the very first stanza. As you get to section 2, he's already talking about the idea as always it's been spoken. The idea for today can be regarded as the central thought for which all our exercises are directed. It's obviously a variation of the very first exercise. God is the only will. When you have recognized this, you have recognized that all your will is his. The belief that the conflict is possible has gone. Peace has replaced the strange idea that you are torn by conflicting goals. As an expression of the will of God, you have no goal but his. Everything becomes meaningless unless it's actually all the spin that you put on stuff. The value judgments that you put on stuff that makes you think that stuff is happening, it's not happening. It's dream within dream within dreams within dreams. It's fantasy within fantasy. It's daydreams within daydreams. Bubbling up constantly. It's one after the other happening so fast we don't notice it. But there's a great peace in today's idea. Exercises for today are directed towards finding it. The idea itself is wholly true. Therefore, cannot give rise to illusions. Without illusions, conflict is impossible. Let us try to recognize today and experience the peace that his recognition brings. But today, if you do this, there's no will with God's. There's no room for sickness. There's no room for hatred. There's no room for anxiety. There's no room for death. There's no room for the ego. So that all that comes from your value judgments. All that comes from our decisions and choices for the ego. As instead of a choice for choicelessness, the decision for no choosing, for no choices, for no free will, for giving up the idea that we have any idea of what we're doing here. For surrendering our minds to the Holy Spirit, to God. God who knows all. We don't know all. We know nothing. We know nothing really. What was it the Scrooge? I know nothing, but now I know nothing. I know nothing. We have to know that we know nothing and be happy about that. Because the less you know, the more potential you have for knowing. The more you're an open vessel to receive the love of God. The more you can give to others. The more you go an open channel. Well, love, of course, is through you. We experience bliss and share bliss. You recognize this, you recognize that your will is his. The belief that conflict is possible has gone, and peace has replaced a strange idea that you are torn by conflict. Notice what he says is, he doesn't say that peace is replaced a strange idea that it replaces your he didn't say peace has replaced your conflicting goals. He didn't say that they have replaced your conflicting goals. If he had said that, that would mean that you had conflicting goals. He didn't say peace has replaced your strange your conflicting goals. He says peace has replaced the strange idea that you are torn by conflicting goals. Because you're not even, no one has any conflicting goals. You are on the right path. Your goals are fine. Your goals are centered. You are centered. You are moving correctly. You're moving forward. Nothing. You're not off course. Your eyes are wide open. You know where you're going. You're heading straight forward to the right place. God is right behind you. He's got your back. He's fighting your battles for you. He's carrying you when you need to be carried. All those good things. You don't have any conflicting goals. There's nothing in your way. Peace has replaced the strange idea that you are torn by conflicting goals. This idea you have. It's an idea. It's not real. It's more real. Anything else around you is real. There's no will but God that cannot be in conflict. And that's not something you have to, even if you repeat that just because it's the truth, and you smash it into your brain a little bit, but your brain doesn't really, your mind doesn't really want to accept that. The ego says, no, that's stupid. There's obviously conflict, and you must follow me if you want to get over that conflict. If you want to defeat and win against others, you follow me. And you hear in the background, no, follow me, follow me, follow me. We'll walk peacefully out of here. Well, yeah, this is lesson 14. There is no but God's. These conflict thoughts are meaningless. Conflict thoughts, images in your mind, and just was conflicts. Every little conflict that goes by, meaningless, 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 meaningless. Every annoyance, meaningless. Not from God, meaningless. There's no will but God's. Everything that you will, everything you desire, that's God's desire. And as you study God, you'll go more insightful into His wisdom. And their wisdom, it's wisdom. Your will become more refined, become higher. You'll know and understand yourself and God better. So eventually, nothing will disturb you. Your will and God's will be one. And the peace that God wills you will be yours. No matter what tries to overtake that peace, no matter what tries to grab it from you, nothing will separate you from God. Once you're one with Him, right? Once you're one with God, it's like knowing 1 + 1 is 2. You can never get separated from that truth, ever. All right, that's about it for me today, gents and ladies. But next week we'll be back. Ozzy and me will be back with Throwback. We have something set up for you, ready for you. Just about. She needed a little more time, but she wasn't feeling it 100%. But until then, actually, I'll be back Monday with Lynn. We'll be reading The Impersonal Life, which we'll look forward to, by Joseph Benner. And until then, I will see you. Have a wonderful weekend. It was great to be here, and I will see you then. Peace.
Thank you so much, Rev Wayne Stills. I truly enjoy your sharing, and I'm so grateful for you. So God bless you, and no Oddsy today, and also no, I can't even think. Uh, um, the other guy that's supposed to be here this afternoon, he will not be here either.